With all the games that keep coming out, in order for a game to be good now, in order for it to stand out, it has to be different and has to try things. Inscription is a great example. Inscription slapped. That came out, what, 3 weeks ago? And you can find an example for that every single... I'm back. Kogadama and Damn Boy.
For us to just show them stuff. They'd be like, here, check this out. We had a prototype up and running. Keep in mind, at this point, you know, the environment is all just big gray boxes. It's not pretty at all. The infected are still the sort of terrorist zombies.
I mean, it was already fun. So then it was just like, well, now...
Yeah, I already watched that video with the man blow 0-0 with open container. It was a tier 1 U4. That was a pretty wild one. Thanks for 5 gift subs, Nero. Thank you, man. Didn't we watch this? Came out 2 days ago. We didn't watch this. I watched a lot of it.
You guys are known for all the amazing work, Left 4 Dead, and now you're building on the legacy with this new zombie co-op shooter. What's new? What can you tell us about it, Chris?
Well, we wanted to do more and bigger, right?
Okay, here we go. Here's the gameplay reveal of Back 4 Blood.
Not me. You all lost people. Lost someone close.
Yeah! Yeah, I didn't like Back 4 Blood very much. I wouldn't say it's awful, it's just boring. It's pretty cool though. It lacks soul. It lacks pretty much everything. Every possible element of a game that's supposed to be fun is missing from Back 4 Blood.
Anytime you're ready.
Deck building's fun. Yeah, but the problem is with Back 4 Blood, all of the cards are just kind of the same shit. It's just like percentage increases. That's like the least fun version of like perks in deck building.
Killing zombies is such a big part of this game. We invested a lot of time into making their death animations more dramatic than simple ragdolls. We had a professional stuntman on a motion capture stage perform about 100 different dying animations from different kinds of weapons and hit from different directions, like from the front or behind. It's the best of both worlds.
This video made me realize how ahead of its time Left 4 Dead was. It's actually a product of its time. Like, every video game back then for Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 went the extra mile to sell realism like this. But nowadays, they don't have to. People are gonna buy shit no matter what. So what's the point in putting all the extra effort and time into doing, like, unique things? Like they did for Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, like with the dying animations. It's something people don't even really pay much attention to. Gears of War had the same thing. Gears of War 5 was less advanced than Gears of War 1. Because it doesn't need to be. People buy it no matter what. Maybe not Gears of War in particular, because that franchise is kind of dead, but in general.
When they see a survivor, they become enraged, taking off in a full sprint, leaning into their turns, trying to get to their...
Thanks, you sub Josie. You like Back 4 Blood? Back 4 Blood in beta, what changed? Well, in beta it was just one mission, it was kind of fun. But then when it turned out the beta was pretty much the entire game, it's like, oh, well, this is underwhelming.
So we found efficient ways for each member of the Horde to make intense facial expressions.
See, again, a detail like almost no one pays attention to. But it helps sell the game. Without it, it feels soulless, like Back 4 Blood. God, I wish Valve made games again. No, you don't. Artifact was like only 3 years ago.
It was a challenge to...
Oh, true, they did make Alex recently. Good point, never mind. They can still make good shit. I forgot about Alex.
Or uniforms in specific areas.
Completely forgot.
For instance, lots of TSA agents are spawned in the airport, hospital patients around the hospital, cops in the streets, office employees in the offices, etc.
Left 4 Dead 2's campaigns, so we extended this notion when we added the
Left 4 Dead 2 was crazy.
The construction
like with how much they added. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest Left 4 Dead fan. I enjoyed the games, they were fun. I mean, I have like probably 100 hours in each. But it's not games I look back on and like, damn, that's like my favorite shit. But I did like them. It's just I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a massive fanboy, but I can absolutely appreciate everything about them. Hey, you wear a PVZ Fusion. No, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Something's off. I can feel it.
Since players spend the vast majority of their time shooting the common infected, we wanted to improve the feedback
shit is
and nature
crazy.
of this experience. In Left 4 Dead 1, we provided only the ability to shoot off limbs. Now, in Left 4 Dead 2, there are 43 unique ways to damage an infected. Because many of these wounds are non-fatal, players are able to wound an infected more than once, resulting in about 780 possible damage combinations.
God, that's cool. Again, something that you don't really even pay that much attention to. But then when it's not there, you immediately notice. Dead Space had something like that in 2008. Like I said, man, games back then had to do things like that. They needed to be, like, unique and push the envelope. They don't need to anymore. Gamers are gonna buy this shit regardless. And they have the added benefit of gamers fight their battles for them. Like, they literally are their own PR team. They don't even need to invest in a PR company anymore. People just fight for them on Twitter. So they can, like, spend less time on games. People want quantity over quality. Yeah, exactly. Not only that, but a lot of people are just conditioned to think every game that comes out is in early access by default.
Geometrically complex.
So when a game like Anthem comes out, the immediate response is, yeah, it's trash now, but just give it 2 weeks, they're gonna fix everything. Cyberpunk. Oh, another great example, yeah. Just wait for the patch. Stop being so entitled. That shit's always so infuriating. People are like, stop whining, just be happy we got the game at all. Even though the game sucks on release and it's broken as all. Because again, everyone just expects everything is early access. Source was truly $1 billion engine. The amount of things the Source engine can do is truly crazy.
Carry
I
flashlights
agree.
to illuminate the environment. These shadow-casting light sources not only add surface richness and provide important visual depth cues, they tie into gameplay.
Shh. Witch, turn it off.
Back for Blood's good, just stop hating because of details. I mean, you're not wrong to like it, man. It doesn't hurt my feelings that we disagree. I just thought it was super boring. Most people did. And it's not just because of small details. Just the game itself is very fun.
People were often confused by certain events and elements in the game. The addition of musical cues helped distinguish these events and diminish player confusion.
Proving his point about people doing PR for them. That's a little different. That's just the guy who likes the game. That's different. I'm talking about the actual warriors on Twitter.
Not only deepen the horror experience, but make them better players.
Your nostalgia Andy with everything, I don't think you realize it. What are you talking about, man? I'm hardly nostalgia on anything, really. For example, I think games are currently the best they've ever been. You have a selection of any game you ever want coming out every month. I feel the same way about music. I feel the same way about movies. Like, I don't know what the you're talking about, man. What? It couldn't be further from the truth.
We keep the music appropriate to each player's situation and highly personalized. The music engine in Left 4 Dead has a complete client-side multi-track system per player that is completely unique to that player and can even be monitored by the spectators.
More games doesn't equal better games. But okay. Think about it though. With all the games that keep coming out, in order for a game to be good now, in order for it to stand out, it has to be different and has to try things. Inscription is a great example. Inscription slapped. That came out, what, 3 weeks ago? And you can find an example for that every single month. You can find multiple examples. Like, you have so many more games coming out, And as a result, you have so many people doing a lot of different games that are good. Now, like I said, a lot of these AAA titles, they can be a lot lazier because you have people that fight their battles for them on Twitter and accept any garbage they're given. So they don't have to do the things Left 4 Dead did. They don't have to take as long on sequels. They don't have to put all the effort into things like dying animations and all that. But that doesn't mean that games overall are worse now.
One difficulty with the tank was that since we offset his
That's
incredible
why Rockstar
toughness
is
by
GOAT.
slowing him down a bit, when tank battles occurred in large outdoor spaces,
Bro, they just remastered GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City and sent it to a mobile game studio. Shit was trash. Also, the only game they ever released now is just GTA 5 again. Yeah, let's ignore Red Dead Redemption 2 though. That came out, what, 3 years ago now? And GTA 5 came out 9?
Don't think I'm coming back out.
Red Dead 2 was fine. I didn't like it as much as everyone else, but it was fine. I would never replay that game though.
You need to take better care of that wound.
Ever. I would never. Half of that game is like playing Death Stranding, just wandering around point A to point B. Back 4 Blood has like an explosion though. So that's pretty cinematic.
Holy crap. Holy shit.
Oh, this is exactly what I was talking about. Let's go!
It works. Yeah.
Bill was a challenging design problem when it came to finding the correct balance between realism and idealism. In our first attempts, we made him look a bit too old and
I think he looks
made him
cool there.
seem physically incapable of fighting against the Horde. In our final design, we balanced the
Damn, I'll be honest, I kinda like the other Bill.
aspirational qualities, portraying Bill as a once heroic army veteran, who though older and wiser, can still excel at physical combat.
Developing a young female in a zombie apocalypse isn't easy with a backstory like hers.
What was her backstory? I don't know any of the characters'
She had to
backstories
be
in Left 4 Dead.
attractive and worn down at the
That did
same
not stick
time.
with me at all.
She needed to be tough and able to hold her own, even though she's occasionally terrified.
Flashlights off.
Her readability was also something we had to take into consideration.
He's
While we
recent
were
DJ
developing
Dick.
Left 4 Dead, we shipped a game called TF2. And Team Fortress 2 taught us
God
a
rest
lot
its
about
soul.
things like read hierarchy and other queuing tools that you need to have in a multiplayer environment. We also wanted to push harder on the horror art direction, so one of the last things we're doing with the game before we ship it is we're redoing all of the survivor characters.
So what we have is this thing called versus mode.
Yeah.
4 survivors.
Versus mode was pretty
humans
fun.
With
It
4
was alright.
infected, but this time it's humans. And what they try to do is the survivors
Goofing around with friends as the infected was good.
The infected try to stop them.
And we recently got to see
Back 4 Blood's is
how
horrible.
PvP is going to
Horrible.
be expanded. Do you?
That was
you
one of
wanna
my
jump
biggest
into that
complaints.
and talk about that newly announced experience.
God, it's trash.
Yeah, sure. You queue up with 3 of your friends. You go into a match, and you're playing a best of 3. So you play 2 rounds, and it's whoever's lasts the longest on
Thanks
the
for
cleaner
some toast
side
and
is
Alex.
the winner.
So it's not going to be quite the entire campaign where people make their way.
It's not
from
gonna be
level to
any part of
level
it.
and swap. It's very much here's a hyper-focus area designed around the swarm mode, and then you're just going to
Oh,
have
it's
to
so bad.
survive longer.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly what it'll have. Like you say.
You know, what's different enough about this to justify it being a new sequel? So we spent a lot of time talking about what the
Remember when
scope
people
is
actually
of
asked that
artistically
question?
in terms of the scale of the game, how the gameplay is evolving, what are some of the technological
times have
pieces
changed.
that have moved forward, and doing anything we could to make sure that our fans, who are the reason that we exist, the reason that we have a business, understood why Left 4 Dead 2 was a really positive evolution, rather than just us trying to come up with a way of you know, stripping money out of a successful and popular game.
The mods were pretty cool, yeah. I love the mods.
Pipe bomb out.
We've had to sit by for the past 10 years and watch other people sort of riff on something that we created. As creators of Left 4 Dead,
from the award-winning creators of Left 4 Dead,
creators of the critically acclaimed Left 4 Dead franchise.
That was the worst thing they could have done for that game.
Left 4 Dead.
No.
make sure the 360 was up to snuff, make sure the PC is polished, and it's going to be spectacular now.
Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, both of those I really put a lot of thought into replayability.
You can pull people back around corners that they thought they'd already got past, and it's kind of, it's a really...
Yeah, so how many people actually worked on Back 4 Blood from the original Left 4 Dead team?
I'm really honored that there's such a strong fan base for Left 4 Dead 1.
Once you make debugging 10 times faster, it becomes feasible to do something that was infeasible before because of the debugging cost.
What we did was we used...
Jesus, 0 for 12 so far?
...similar textures and added some grind to them.
Valve time finally arrived. We set a hard date this time, I'm telling you. I believe you, Chad. And it'll be quality.
The goal of the director was to create kind of peaks and valleys.
What do these people do at Valve? Valve doesn't like make games. What do they do? Just, they go into work and just hang out?
We didn't know why.
Chug beer? Like what the is the like protocol?
Left 4 Dead 3, and I hear the giggling already. So we're going to continue with this.
Because you're playing the same mission a bunch of times, if you played the exact same line at the exact same location, it would be rapid.
They're not there anymore?
What we wanted at Valve was to create an experience.
So what? They're not at Valve anymore? They're just not at Turtle Rock either?
Film.
Moby goes on to lead art direction for Team Fortress 2, then works on titles such as Left 4 Dead.
But I also worked on Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, wait, is that actually just 6 people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6. Yeah, it's just 6 people. There's 7. Am I missing one? Am I blocking it or something? There's 6. Oh, Jamie S. Oh, here. I didn't see Jamie hiding out up there. There she is. Okay, my bad. Yeah, I didn't see that. Well, it was right under the Back 4 Blood title, which was the same color. I don't know. Blended in. Nice. How's Back 4 Blood doing? It is. Current players is 6,500 with a 30-day average of 6,700. Thanks for resub, Slava. Let's see Left 4 Dead 2. Rough. Damn. How about Left 4 Dead 1? Is it at least beating Left 4 Dead 1? Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, it is slapping Left 4 Dead 1. Which makes sense. I don't know why anyone would be playing the first Left 4 Dead. Everyone plays Back 4 Blood on Game Pass on PC. Do they? Can I look at like general player count then maybe? Game Pass is holding things down. Game Pass slaps. That is an actual great Australian news channel, a current affair. Haven't checked in a while. They don't really have any goofy stories anymore. Repulsive stench holding Sydney suburb hostage. Actually, it does sound a little goofy.
Smells like coming from the fridge.
Or out-of-date eggnog. But something's for sure. Western
broken sewage pipe?
Big stink is back.
It smells like
did a gamer move in?
Like sewage. Sewage, very bad.
Once again, foul fumes are wafting through their backyards.
Can't clean the car today. That's too...
God, that guy is crying.
In the house. Those are bad.
Felipe and partner Michelle say it's holding families hostage in their own homes. These streets in Minchinbury have been on the nose.
So right now you can smell a little bit of that smell in the air.
Carl Howard's one of the hundreds of residents.
Well, what is it? Let's get to the bottom of this.
Invisible invader.
Who's poisoning the town?
It's more
shit.
Predominantly in the morning. When you first get up in the morning, I can smell it. When you open the front door, not as strong as previously, but certainly the smell is back there.
33 years you've been living here. Have you smelt anything like this?
For the first 30 years now. It's just getting unbearable at times. You can't come outside when it's the winter.
I doubt it's that bad. I really do.
It's not right.
Florida uses sulfur in their like sprinklers. I bet it smells worse than this.
1 kilometre, $5 million to eliminate the odour after rotten
what a
smelling
scam.
gas was found forming in its landfill.
They're saying they've spent $5 million to fix the smell. Do you think it's working?
I think they need to spend another $5 million if this is the result of the $5 million that they have spent.
Families have been rallying for
Oh
18
man,
months to have the stench eliminated.
it must smell like actual shit.
If they can't resolve the odour issue, and it seems like it's ongoing, then there is no other option but to shut them down until they fully resolve it. Acceptable
It can't smell that bad. It really can't.
Comes out and affects the residents.
When you got into this job, did you think that you were going to inherit this stinky problem?
No, I didn't. And, you know, it occupied so much of my time this year in dealing with residents. I've had over 300 complaints into my office.
He's now calling for more action by the EPA.
Bingo's
yeah, just shut them down. Get them out. They smell like shit. They have to quit. Get them out of town. E-scooter ride ends in eye-watering fine.
Was meant to be his ticket to freedom, a new electric scooter that could get him from A to B without breaking a sweat. But things didn't exactly go to plan. Let's just say it was a very expensive first outing.
And he hasn't learned his lesson, that criminal.
Riding for Rahul on his new electronic scooter. He has hours.
He's still doing it.
And lounge rooms. When he's up for real adventure, he's going wild down in his apartment's parking bay.
Exhibits espresso.
Just bliss. Mind you, when he
we did a baby food tier list.
He thought he'd have a little more freedom. Oh, the JB Hi-Fi ad looks so cool. The scooter wasn't cheap, but...
That's the one I want, I guess.
Yep, I'll have one of those. But pushing his heavy scooter on the road was not the Rahul he wanted to be.
Yeah, you gotta ride that bitch.
He dreamed for the wind in his face, like that cool guy in the ad.
The cops stopped me and they asked my license and details.
You know where this is heading, don't you?
They said it's not allowed to ride the electric scooter in the public area or road. It is only allowed to ride in a private area.
Yep, on his first outing
Why?
On a road at
Just
Riverwood in Sydney,
right on the
Southwest,
sidewalk.
where he lives, he was pulled up. This landed up in the letterbox.
Yes.
4 different penalties.
And I was shocked, stressed. I was not expecting this.
Yeah.
Maybe give some
Merry
Skittles.
Christmas, Rahul, from New South Wales Police. $2,500 in fines.
Ooh.
Oh. You copped here a fine for not wearing an approved helmet.
Yes.
Even though it looked like a good helmet.
Yes, that's what the JBFS sell along with the bike.
That's a fat fine.
$52. And then you got a motor vehicle on a road, an unregistered motor vehicle on the road.
Yes.
$704.
It was mine.
There should be a whole raft of warnings, I think, around the sales.
Agreed.
So anyone who's
Justice for that guy and his scooter. The absolute worst birthday song. This is probably Tony in the resub Nav and Nile. What a great celebration. Yeah! Make a wish. That was cute. He did have a lot of pizza, not wrong. Pathetic man-child destroys 2,387 Star Wars figures. This? Oh, it's Red Letter Media.
Hello, I'm a pathetic man-child. In 2015, I made a video called Welcome Back Star Wars. The video prominently featured vintage Star Wars figures being melted down in acetone, a corrosive substance used in nail polish remover. The video was supposed to symbolize the end of a simpler time in Star Wars and the beginning of a new era, the Disney era. Well, friends, this year
it's been great, huh?
Episode 9 and the conclusion of the so-called Skywalker trilogy. I, for one, can't wait to see off our beloved characters at the center of this trilogy, Luke, Han, and Leia. So from now until the release of Episode 9, I'll be destroying as many vintage Star Wars figures from the original trilogy as possible. I will not stop until every last action figure is wiped off the face of the earth. At least that's what my therapist says.
I don't remember. Was he a huge Star Wars fan before the Disney Star Wars?
2,387 vintage Star Wars.
It's actually been a while since I watched Red Letter Media.
A 55-gallon tank filled with an illegal amount of acetone. As these figures dissolve, so will the joy that they brought countless
He was?
children
No, he
in
wasn't.
the 1970s and 80s.
Getting different ones back.
Children like me.
Oh, this is kind of a boring way to do it. You can't really watch all the fun stuff happen. You're just drowning them. Hit him with a hammer or something cool. Hydraulic press even. A lot of those could be salvaged.
Now, we turn them into a cube.
That's pretty cool though. Nice.